They said its plant in Waterloo, Iowa will suspend operations until further notice. The company said the Waterloo location is its largest pork plant and has been running at reduced output due to worker absenteeism. Tyson is planning to test all 2,800 workers for COVID-19 at the facility later this week. The company said workers would be compensated while the plant is closed. There was no firm timeline on when the plant would reopen. Meat prices across the country are surging as food processing plants are closing because of the virus. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Mass anti-lockdown protests like those recently seen in state capitals of Michigan and Pennsylvania have come to Idaho after a mother was filmed being arrested by police for allowing her children to play at a playground closed by coronavirus stay-at-home orders. Activist Post reports the incident happened in the city of Meridian, which, like most other places across the nation, closed down its public parks and recreational facilities for use. It immediately sparked a protest of about 100 people in front of Meridian City Hall in Idaho's third largest city. 40-year-old Sarah Brady had reportedly been at the playground with a small group of others as part of a playdate protest against the park closure, which they slammed as local government overreach against freedoms of people in the community. Police said they asked Brady to leave multiple times, while she's seen in a now viral video asking why the officers don't have masks on. It apparently took a global pandemic and corresponding economic shutdown of entire nations' economies for the American public to realize the U.S. military relies heavily on supplies involved in weapon systems manufacturing just south of the border. The Pentagon's Defense Undersecretary for Acquisition and Sustainment, Ellen Lord, urged at the start of the week that Mexico reopen those factories, which many U.S. defense firms rely on, especially aircraft manufacturers previously shuttered due to COVID-19. Activist Post reports it follows Lord previously saying she would write Mexican Foreign Secretary Marcelo Ebrard to ask for help to reopen international suppliers in Mexico. Among major defense suppliers that have outsourced vital portions of their supply chain to Mexico include General Dynamics, Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Textron, General Electric, Honeywell, and others. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to a new report released this week by the Pew Research Center, a rising number of weak, emasculated men are working as stay-at-home dads, with a steadily increasing number of feeble, pathetic fayboys choosing to spend their days cooking, cleaning, and performing other submissive duties.
Well, our findings indicate that more and more pussified half-men are not going to work, and instead are embarrassing themselves by purchasing groceries, packing children's lunches, and denying all aspects of their masculinity on a daily basis.
The Onion spoke to one of these effete, pathetic excuses for men to get his response on the new report.
I love being able to stay home with Angela. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
What a f***ing pussy. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And you know, we spent a lot of yesterday discussing the 7 states, I think it was, that require people going forward to wear face masks. And it was every bit as stupid as you would expect it to be. One of these states required people under the age of 2 to wear face masks.
That's funny.
Can you imagine strapping a face mask onto a 6-month-old?
You can do it. Just won't stay there.
I think it's probably a bad idea.
Okay.
But from what you're telling us, masks aren't effective anyway, which isn't a surprise, right? I mean, it's a piece of cloth. This isn't military-grade equipment here.
Yep. From medpagetoday.com. Now, I've never heard of this website before.
It doesn't sound particularly creditable.
Well, it doesn't sound incredible. I mean, you know, I looked through their other stuff.
TotallyRealNews.com.
Endocrinology, gastroenterology, genetics, geriatrics, HIV. And like they've got everything sort of split out by different specialities, and it makes me think that they have some notion of what they're talking about. So again, I know nothing about this particular website, but it does say that basically the face masks are useless. A small study from South Korea cast doubt on the ability of surgical or cotton face masks to effectively prevent dissemination of COVID-19 coronavirus from the coughs of infected patients.
Now, this includes surgeon masks? Because I would expect the typical mask worn by a surgeon to be fairly good at keeping germs and stuff in.
The ability of surgical or cotton face masks.
Okay, wow.
All right. Median viral loads did not differ significantly when comparing coughing samples of COVID-19 patients without a mask, with a surgical mask, and with a cloth mask, suggesting these masks are ineffective at filtering the SARS-CoV-2, the virus, that causes COVID-19. Reported the Sung Han Kim, MD of that's his name, of University of Ulsan College of Medicine in Seoul, South Korea, and colleagues.
And the South Koreans are supposedly really on top of things when it comes to COVID-19. That's all you ever hear is, oh, we have to do this the way South Korea did.
Sure. And when I was in South Korea, I did see more people wearing masks than you do in the United States. I mean, nobody wears masks in the United States, and wearing a mask in the United States is probably considered strange behavior.
Well, it was
not
considered
at present.
strange behavior. Right. I find it interesting that for only doing this study now, and as you said, a small study, because at least when I look at B-roll from like documentaries and footage of like, especially in the big cities in China like Beijing, even in Japan and South Korea and Taiwan, I'd see like occasionally like 1 out of every 10 people wearing a mask. So it's more accepted there than it is here. But it's interesting that only now we're realizing that, or at least this one study is claiming that it's ineffective. Like, why suddenly now?
Well, they're claiming it's ineffective for the specific virus too. So, I don't know what other conclusions you can draw from this, and probably amateurs shouldn't be drawing conclusions about this kind of stuff at all.
I mean, that's literally all we do every day.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right, let's just pull the plug. All right, goodbye, everyone.
But here it is. They're saying, citing concern about in a letter published to in the Annals of Internal Medicine, they cited the size of viral particles as a possible reason for masks' poor ability to filter the virus. So they didn't draw a conclusion. They just said it's not happening. Despite their effectiveness against other respiratory infections, in particular, prior studies found surgical masks as well as N95 respirators, which are not tested in the current analysis, help prevent dissemination of influenza virus. Citing concern, so once more, the novel coronavirus is a Frankenbug that zips through the air and kills millions, right? Citing concern about asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic spread of COVID-19. And remember, yesterday, there's an article that said in Los Angeles, they took a sample of people and tested them, and turns out whole bunches of them had, and this is true in Chelsea and Boston too, had corona that, Like they've never been tested. They're not in that number that's like, these are the people that have corona. Well, they're not in that tested positive number. And the claim is, from the article, 22 to 55 times as many people have the virus as we've been told, which kind of sticks with, I mean, at some point or another, the virus, you've got to realize the virus isn't that deadly if the number of people who have it is 22 to 55 times the number we're being told. Now, this is just from Los Angeles. I didn't think it was that
deadly in the first place, right?
Well,
I mean, the state's numbers suggest, what, a 2% mortality rate?
Oh, that 2% is a really early number. That had gone down to 0.5%.
Okay, so if
0.3 to 0.5%.
25 to 55 times more people have it, then that death rate drops to what, 0.002?
No, I think we're probably still at a rate of something like 0.1, which is about what the flu is. Now, before everybody calls in and say I'm a Trump lover because I said flu and corona in the same sentence, I would point out the corona also has some other issues with it, meaning that, you know, your lungs can be damaged for the rest of your life, and things can happen. You don't have to die in order for this virus to be bad for you.
Well,
whereas the flu, I've never
too
heard
premature to say that your lungs can be damaged for the rest of your life.
That's what people are claiming.
Well, they don't have the data to make such a claim. Maybe for the next 6 months, but we don't know how the human body is going to adapt to this in the long term.
I would look at
there appears to be permanent damage that appears it won't heal. But I can't imagine a medical doctor saying something that moronic. The human body is designed to heal itself.
Sure. And let's hope that's the case. However, I think it's still fair to say the novel coronavirus is novel, and novel virus is novel.
Which is why they certainly shouldn't be making claims
for
the rest of your life.
Chicken littles are chicken littles, right? Like we can say all of these things at one time. You can at one time say, well, it appears as though the mortality rate of the novel coronavirus is in fact very similar to the mortality rate of the flu. And at the same time, we can say...
I like his news anchor voice there that he went into. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I do all kinds of voices.
Here's Tom with the weather.
And at the same time, you can say that, well, you know, this virus, it attacks people's lungs and organs, and we're not entirely sure what it does, and we don't know. But what this particular article is saying is that face masks appear to have no effect on the viral load. And this viral load word is important. You don't hear it a lot in the articles that I've been reading. But in fact, you know, one little Corona-19 floating out there in the atmosphere probably isn't going to do anything to you. However, if you have 1 million or 1 billion or whatever the number is of them that's necessary, maybe a bigger issue. Now, we don't know at this point that anybody has been infected by breathing this in. It seems likely that could happen, but we don't know that.
That seems to be how the cat would have gotten it. The cat that you were talking about earlier.
2 kitties got it. I didn't keep that article. That's you just hit me broadside. But yes, there is apparently...
You didn't keep the article about the cat,
no,
Mark.
I don't care if your cat dies of COVID-19. As far as I'm concerned, that doesn't mean that we can be locked up.
That's the only one I would take seriously, is my cat's getting sick.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Supposedly, a couple of cats got sick. I can look that up and we can discuss that.
I don't care that
Regardless,
much.
This is horrible news. Now we can't go outside at all.
Yeah, we have to save the cats.
Or if we were going outside during the flu.
Well, yeah, but the masks don't work, so now we can't go outside at all. We just have to have drones and robots deliver everything and do the election online. And
the masks are like good luck charms. They're totems that keep away the evil spirits.
Like a safety blanket.
Just saying, folks. Look, I'm here to tell you the cold, hard truth. Do I have a mask? Yes. But it apparently isn't doing anything.
You're not wearing it either. Well, because you're talking.
But when I'm here in the studio, I'm not going to wear a mask. But
okay.
I do keep Lysol wipes that we stocked plenty of them long ago. Mind you, I told Laura, hey, you never know. Keep some Lysol wipes.
855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at icagoldsilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556 icagoldsilver.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And local.bitcoin.com is the new trading platform launched by bitcoin.com that allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Again, that's local.bitcoin.com. And we're talking again about masks. In this particular case whether or not they're actually effective against the coronavirus.
Well,
even the people who claim that they're effective, though, insist that, oh, well, you still have to do your social distancing thing. And it's terrifying that that's a common phrase now, right? This notion that you have to stay 6 feet away from every other human being is embedded in the culture now.
And that, by the way, was the whole idea of the masks, is if you cannot socially distance, that you must wear the mask. But if you can socially distance, then, the mask isn't that big of a deal. And I'm not entirely sure. I think we as a species, as a nation, or whatever the term is here, are trying to find our way through this muddled mess of information. And perhaps, just maybe here, and I'm spitballing, really, let's just stop yelling at each other over this crap until we really figure it out, okay?
Why did you look at me before saying that?
I'm just trying to get BH reactions here, that's all.
My understanding with masks, what makes them what's the most important thing about masks is it keeps the water droplets, right? Like obviously when we speak, that's what they call, I think, like the virus is aerosolized. But when someone sneezes or coughs, it's what's most dangerous about it is all the liquids that's inside of it, right? So the mask would obviously stop that.
Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Jason calling from Beadville, Pennsylvania. Jason, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, folks. I'm hearing you talking about masks again. That's a good topic to spend some time on. I've read that, dug into that study that Mark just brought up, and in the first page, I was reading about how they did it. Coughing. They coughed into 5 different petri dishes. I'm thinking, well, let me guess, these geniuses had them. Well, it might not necessarily be their fault to choose this method, but they were 20 centimeters away from the dish, which is about 8 inches.
Okay.
Now, my understanding of these masks is, and I still believe they're a benefit. I know you guys hate the idea. And
no, I don't hate the idea. I
these.
think we'll all be better off with masks in the future.
I hate the idea.
Yeah. There are a variety of opinions to be had on Free Talk Live. I like the idea of masks. I think that
I'm trying not to.
we'll find more freedom in a world where we can cover our faces. But please, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that can show you right there how the establishment's actually willing to make exceptions here, because people are walking around with their faces covered. But bottom line is 20 centimeters away, 8 inches, and they're coughing. Now, I just went into the store this morning, and I absolutely hate going into these places now. But everybody had a mask on, and what it's really intended to do is, it's a means of trying to keep these virus particles from being able to be expelled as far away from people. And it's like a muffler. It's simply a muffler or a damper on the expulsion of these particles out of people's mouths. Just because breathing alone has been shown, trust me, I've looked these studies up. Breathing alone sheds the particles into the air, and aerosolized particles are actually the worst ones because they are readily inhaled down into the lungs due to their low mass. They float through the air passages when you breathe much easier because they have low inertia. They tend to go straight down through the air passages into your lungs instead of maybe getting thrown onto the side of your throat, let's say, and therefore giving your body some time to maybe expel it or learn to fight the disease before it makes it into your lungs. This is a really, really sad situation that we've got here, unfortunately. I do a lot of research on this, and I just can't find any reason not to worry about it, other than the fact that some people have already had it, gotten away with it. I've also seen plenty of people in their 40s, which is my age, that have had their lives turned upside down or died from it. And But anyway, these masks, unfortunately, I would recommend you folks all wear them for your own good.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for the call. I've certainly seen people under 40 with their lives turned upside down, but it wasn't the coronavirus that did that. It was the government.
Well, I would say that yes, there's no one disputing here that the cure is worse than the what's Trumpsel saying? The cure is worse than the disease.
Yes,
I suppose is what he's going with. Well, I mean, isn't he the cure? I mean, wasn't he the guy that suggested a lot of this stuff. Anyway,
well, it was someone he hired onto his staff. It was Fauci and the scarf lady who'd recommend all of this. For some reason, giving economic control of a country to two doctors, especially with Fauci being associated with Bill Gates and George Soros and the Rockefellers and such. So a lot of material to go through there.
Well, either way, it says here, in particular, prior studies found that surgical masks as well as N95 respirators, which were not tested in the current analysis, help prevent dissemination from the influenza virus. These are previous studies. They're saying, they're acknowledging, yes, this did happen. Citing concern about asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic spread of COVID-19, the CDC recommended late Friday night that all Americans should wear cloth masks in public.
I haven't taken the CDC's advice yet. I don't intend to start now.
Okay. And as we said, here we read an article last night that said that it's in Los Angeles, and obviously Los Angeles is in America, but it's a big place, and they did a good-sized study, and they were estimating between 22 and 55 times as many people. Now, those are big. That's a big disparity, right? But 22 to 55 times as many people have corona as have been tested as positive at this point.
Or it was the antibody test, right? So it has the antibodies that suggest they had some type of corona in the past.
Well, I don't. Again, everybody believes they're a freaking expert these days.
No, because I read the article about it, or I've been researching into it.
And all I can do is read the things that are put in front of me,
i.e. the headline and subhead,
click the little links from it, and then run them down as far as I can go, and at some point or another I get tired of reading it, and then I go on to the next thing. So
there's something called Adderall for that. If you have that low of an attention span, you can't read
It's not that low of an
article.
attention span. It's gotten me this far.
I mean, get a legal, lawful prescription, of course. I wouldn't want to advocate anything naughty on the air.
Kim and colleagues, Kim being the doctor here, examined data from 4 COVID-19 patients. They said it was a small study, admitted to negative pressure isolation rooms where they were instructed to cough 5 times each into separate Petri dishes while wearing no mask, a surgical mask,
This sounds like basement science, man.
a 100% reusable. Do you have a negative pressure isolation room in your basement?
No, I don't.
I shudder to think some of the things you might keep in your basement.
It doesn't
Aria.
sound like the type of description of medical research that I would expect to hear from.
How are you going to find out about whether or not a mask works if you don't have people cough into them?
Here, cough 5 times into this. I don't know, man. 855-450-3733.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And for years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping to build one, Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network so you can connect and share with others. However, use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. That's Liberty.menu. Now, let's keep going on with the phones. We've got Sam calling from MO. That's Missouri, right?
Sounds right.
Yep. Sam, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Yeah. My name's Sam. I'm from Warrenton, Missouri. Same place that idiot. I have a couple of friends who knew him. That guy who licked all those deodorant sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And all that.
He got famous.
Yeah. Famous for being an idiot.
What ended up happening with him?
I don't know. I just know I heard from a couple of my friends. It's like, oh, he's not that bad of a guy, but some other friends that knew him, they said, like, I don't know, I think he's an idiot.
Sure.
But whatever. No, I was just basically calling to tell you guys that buddy of mine, he's like 15 years older than me, and he's like, just like, hey, dude, you should listen to these guys. And no, I was like a hardcore Republican for a long time. Well, 5 years, whatever you want to call it. I'm 27. And you definitely changed my mind on a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Because, like, oh, yeah. I was like, no, because this BS that's going on out here with all this No, they're basically making it illegal to
be out in
join
public,
up
right?
and-
Yeah. I mean, they have definitely made it illegal to assemble in crowds of more than 10. So basically, it's illegal to protest the actions of the government, which if ever there was a time to protest the actions of the government, it would be when the government made it illegal to protest. Well, Sam, thank you so much for the call. I'm glad that we could get you on the side of liberty. Mark, you're also leaning conservative as well, right?
I don't know. I mean, I live my life as a conservative, but I believe in voluntary interaction when I can get it.
Okay. I don't know where to go with that answer.
Nope, that's not. There you go.
All right, so back to face masks.
I believe in personal respensibility.
Okay, as
How's
do
that?
I.
Yeah, but it
seems
that's
to
great.
conflict with the conservatism. though.
I don't know whether I think that that's true. So, I think that this is an opportunity for us to look at all of our philosophies and see how they fit in the real world. And one of the things I was thinking about today was Wimbledon. So Wimbledon had pandemic insurance. Now, before this whole COVID-19, December of 2019.
Wimbledon, that's tennis, right?
Yeah, that's tennis. It's a tennis event, the biggest one in the world. And
You would like tennis.
I do like tennis, but that doesn't really change the fact that Wimbledon, the organization.
You probably watch golf too.
Nah, I don't find any interest in that.
No, just tennis.
Yep.
Okay.
Their pandemic insurance probably was considered ludicrous by people prior to this, but hey, they had to cancel Wimbledon and they got a full payout. You don't hear anybody saying, "Hey, I lost my job at Wimbledon," because Wimbledon got their money. So all I'm saying here is that if you want to, I think that people should be carrying pandemic insurance is what I think. Then you can be responsible for the things you do, right? And if what you do is get somebody sick, maybe we need an insurance for this, right? Like I have insurance on my car. Even though I don't intend to go out and smash into somebody and lop the head off of their kid, it could happen every time I hop into a car, right?
But insurance is about risk versus reward, right? If everybody had this pandemic insurance and an actual pandemic happened, it would be impossible for them to pay out to everyone.
Well, you have to look well for your insurance companies. If you go buy fly-by-night insurance company, then, well, you're probably going to get fly-by-night insurance. If, however...
I mean, it was major insurance companies that were refusing to pay out after Hurricane Katrina.
I believe the pandemic insurance for Wimbledon was through Lords of London.
Okay.
So, there you go. Lloyd's of London, excuse me. That's about as big as it gets.
Okay.
You pay more,
but if everybody went
because
through
you're
them,
going to. You pay more for them because they're going to pay.
Sure.
Yep.
But if they're going to pay everyone, they're going to run out of money in the event of an actual pandemic. And it remains to be seen whether or not this is even a pandemic, because I don't know anyone who has tested positive.
Well, you don't need to know anyone who's tested positive.
If it's as extensive as they say it is, yeah, I kind of do by this point need to know at least one person who has had this
I suspect you
thing.
know lots of people who are positive.
I know lots of people who are positive for influenza. Doesn't make it a pandemic, but I know zero for certain as positive for COVID-19.
I think that so maybe influenza is in fact a pandemic every single year, and we just don't call it that. The same way that the Yankees up here don't call snow a
weather disaster.
A weather disaster, right? So I mean, every single year more people die because of snow in New England than they do because of hurricanes in Florida. Almost every single year. But you can believe you say I'm going to Florida for a vacation or whatever, the first thing some Yankee says is, "Watch out for the hurricanes," because because why? I don't understand. Because we accept certain risks without pause because we're used to them, whereas other risks that are new we don't quite get. I mean, as a species, this particular predatory primate we're talking about here is really bad with statistics.
I would expect that from a predatory primate, yes.
Yeah, well, and I would even go a little further as to remind you of George Carlin's statement is just think about how stupid the average person is and consider that 50% of them are stupider than that. So, that fear makes it so people can't think and they're locked up with it. But anyway, let's go on with this article from MedPage.
I would say they're
today.
locked down with it.
All
and
right.
that's what's been the source of this entire problem is fear.
Neophagial and saliva samples had a median viral load of 5.6 log copies per milliliter.
Is that supposed to mean anything?
four log copies and 4 log copies per milliliter, respectively.
Log copies?
I don't know what that means either.
Like logarithmic or just log?
I don't know what it means. It's just the word, respectively.
Only the best commentary here on Free Talk Live.
However, median viral loads for patients without a mask, with a surgical mask and a cotton mask, were 2.56 log copies and 2.42 log copies and 1.85 log copies, respectively. Interestingly, swabs
great.
from the outside of the mask were positive for SARS-2, while most swabs from the inside of the mask were negative, the authors said. So their claim is that basically wearing a mask in their particular small study...
It doesn't reduce the log copies.
Well, viral load is important. And...
I mean, according to them...
No, viral load is important.
This is the first time I've ever heard the term
I know!
viral load.
That's because nobody's telling anybody anything!
Well, it probably isn't that important then.
No, it's really important. Trust me, viral load is really important when it comes to this disease. Because you're not going to get it from one solitary virus floating out there.
Concentration parts per million, that kind of thing?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's the viral load? Now, how did the log scale or whatever come into play?
I don't know. I don't understand that. But I'm not an epidemiologist. All I can do is read an article that says that in this study, masks didn't do any good.
Do you think masks work? Give us a call and let us know. 855-450-3733.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required. Only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Oh, so you're wearing a mask every day now? Where are you getting them?
The same website where I get my neck and body wraps, sunnybay.com. And they're handmade.
Really?
Just like their wraps in the USA.
Oh, and good quality?
Oh, very good. These are disposable face masks.
And good price?
That's the best part. I get a 10-pack for only $6.
Wow.
Yes, as a public service, we're now sourcing disposable face masks with level 1 protection at sunnybay.com. Get a 10-pack of high-quality, more breathable face masks, only $6. Our face masks are hypoallergenic, latex-free, and made for stress-free all-day wearing. Or choose our N95 respirator masks 2-pack for only $6. Supplies are limited, so place your order at sunny-bay.com, a Biomed DB design company right here in the USA. Go to sunny-bay.com and purchase your disposable face masks online. 10 masks for only $6. Just click sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeen.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeen.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And this is Joe Exotic. Guess what, mother...
That was awful
I was doing my best. Sorry. It's just right here. We were watching the...
Should practice that in the commercials and then try it on air.
From Oklahoma? How can I do country from Oklahoma? I have no clue.
Jeff Lowe in the show does a remarkable Joe Exotic impression, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's had plenty of practice, too. Chased him around. Honest Trailers, Tiger King is what we were watching during the break. It's awesome.
I don't know. You were watching. I was listening. I look forward to watching it later. After the show.
You get to hear it now, because I'm going to play it again during the next break, too.
I'll be outside during that. That'll be fine.
Okay.
But Tiger King, definitely worth watching for people who are stuck at home quarantined with nothing better to do.
I mean, at this point, half of America has to have seen this thing.
There's a Waco documentary out now as well.
No, I didn't know that.
I don't think it'll be as successful as Tiger King, because it doesn't have the perfect mix of crazy cats and meth that you find in Tiger King.
Tiger King was really well done. I kept watching, and
I couldn't stop watching.
I don't spend a lot of time on the whole reality TV thing. I did watch My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding or something like that. It's probably 10 years ago. I did find that one amusing, but this is it's compelling point after compelling point after compelling point. They just line them up and knock them down through this, and
I thought
I never stopped enjoying it.
I thought it was as weird it was going to get with the whole gay sex tiger cult, right? I was like, it cannot possibly get weird, and then he runs for president.
Right. That I don't think is entirely a spoiler, but I don't want to go too much farther because they're probably half the population has not seen it. And I did get to see one particular shocking part without having been given any warning that it was going to happen. And I would like to share that with people that, hey.
I didn't know anything about any of it except that it was wild. When I sat down to watch, I was like, all right, I'm going to see what people are talking about.
Right. The one warning I'd had from somebody is, freedom ain't free, Mark. And it made me have to go watch it. Well, it's true. I mean, if from the standpoint of somebody on the outside of libertarianism, they do understand to some extent that, if you're going to have freedom, people are going to do dumb things. Freedom is the freedom to do dumb things at its heart, because as
long as you're not committing aggression against people.
Right. But I mean, everything that we consider to be sort of as smart and acceptable and social behavior today, 200 years ago, I mean, or, some period of time in the past, we had to disabuse people of their particular notions that were considered completely acceptable and all that other stuff. society changes, and you have to be able to have the freedom to try new things, and most of the new things are going to look pretty dumb.
Sure. Well, let's go to the phones. We got Lonnie calling from California. Lonnie, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello there.
Hey, what's on your mind?
I wanted to ask your advice for someone that is coming to PorcFest for the second time that wants to remain in the Shire, besides saving your money and getting on the forum.
That's the
which I
Porcupine
think is
Freedom
huge.
Festival, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're wanting to move to New Hampshire this time? You're wanting to basically come for the Porcupine Freedom Festival and just never go back?
Yeah, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
A lot of people have come for the Porcupine Freedom Festival and decided to stay.
It's important to know that the Porcupine Freedom Festival is not New Hampshire, and New Hampshire is not a nonstop Porcupine Freedom Festival.
That would be an important thing to know, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so my first question to the president, Carla, was just, mainly about work, but he was like, just figure it out in person. And I think that was pretty good advice, but,
well, it's risky advice if you don't have the resources to figure it out.
Yeah, it's like advice to not have a plan, just show up and wing it.
Yeah, so I'm just formulating my plan, I'm just expressing the desire to go and just planting some seeds. And anyone out there in the Shire that needs a hand, a farm hand, a carpenter's hand, a painter's hand,
I would recommend checking out Shire Society. Is it .org or .com?
ShireSociety.com.
Yeah, I would recommend checking out the forums there because there are all kinds of libertarians and porcupines and things like that who have rooms for rent specifically for people in your sort of situation to move up here and get settled in.
You should also check out Bardo Farms. So if you're looking for a cheap landing pad where you can exchange labor for living, then I believe they have some operation like that there. But that's a way to check. Yeah.
Doesn't Liberty.menu also have a list of businesses that you could look at? Like liberty-minded businesses that you could apply to or see if anything matches your skill set.
Sure. Check out Liberty.menu.
Yeah. There are lots of good ways to learn to develop a plan. I would disagree entirely with what that person said. Just come here and wing it. That's terrible advice.
Well, if you have plenty of money, you can wing it any place you want.
I suppose, but I would be dismayed to have any official relationship with an organization that gave people such reckless advice. Well, you're 19, just move here; it'll be fine. You can handle these negative 12-degree winters.
I have no idea how things were offered,
Sure.
Maybe it was maybe you should come to PorcFest and see what it's like here, because PorcFest is has convinced a lot of people to move to New Hampshire, and some of them are still here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I hope it works out, and I don't think I will be at the Porcupine Freedom Festival. That's assuming it's even happening this year. And at the moment, it doesn't look like the lockdowns are going to be lifted by then.
And people are demanding that public parks, or not public parks, but campgrounds are to be shut down for demanding the governor do that.
Yeah, because being outside in nature is definitely a threat.
Especially sunlight during the summer. Oh my God.
So face masks. Effective or not effective? They went off on the deep end there with numbers and statistics that don't mean anything to anyone who's not an epidemiologist.
Right. So they're saying that surgical masks are unlikely to effectively filter this virus. The size and concentrations of SARS-CoV-2 in aerosols generated during coughing were unknown when noting greater contamination on the outside versus the inside of the mask. They speculated that it could be due to the mask's aerodynamic features or the small aerosols of the SARS-CoV-2 generated during a high-velocity cough that might penetrate the masks. And the finding reinforces the importance of hand hygiene after touching the outside of a mask. And the researchers acknowledged that the study didn't examine actual transmission of COVID-19 illness from one person to another.
Sure.
Not whether the masks, nor whether the masks shorten the travel distance of the droplets during coughing. So they held a petri dish a certain distance from their face, 20 centimeters is what was proposed here, and coughed into it a few times and said, well, this don't work.
How scientific.
Well, how else are you going to find out whether a mask works? You got to put it on and cough. So whether the face mask decreases transmission from asymptomatic individuals with COVID-19 or those that are not coughing needs further study, they added. So these were only coughers who had COVID-19 who were tested. But
so not everyone who has COVID-19 coughs, right?
What I would say to people is that although there are some studies that say that masks can help, that you probably shouldn't put all your reliance in masks. So that's that.
Fair criticism. Social distancing is probably about the same way. The notion that a virus won't travel 6 feet in the air is absurd on its face.
That sounds right, yeah.
However, everybody swears by it. So that magical number, 6 feet, you'll be fine.
I'm just glad they're not getting within 6 feet of me anymore.
I don't know what stores you and Conan are shopping at, because the ones that I have been to, that no one gives a crap about it.
Well, mostly it doesn't matter because it depends on what direction you're facing and things like that. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not terribly worried about it's your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Hands is what I'm concerned with. Keep them washed. Stop sticking them in your orifices.
Well, then how are you going to have fun?
I don't know.
Oh,
Get
you mean
a
like
hobby.
picking your nose, I guess, right?
That's the kind of thing.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. Or you can check out the Discord server at discord.freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,723, silver at $15.12, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,131. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of Kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/freekratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, food security remains a significant problem during the coronavirus lockdowns. And the next big issue unfolding is the shuttering of the nation's food plants that could drive food inflation sky high. Activist Post on Wednesday reported that Tyson Fresh Meats, the beef and pork subsidiary of Tyson Foods, released a statement that said its plant in Waterloo, Iowa, will suspend operations until further notice. The company said the Waterloo location is its largest pork plant and has been running at reduced output due to worker absenteeism. Tyson is planning to test all 2,800 workers for COVID-19 at the facility later this week. The company said workers would be compensated while the plant is closed. There was no firm timeline on when the plant would reopen. Meat prices across the country are surging as food processing plants are closing because of the virus. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Mass anti-lockdown protests like those recently seen in state capitals of Michigan and Pennsylvania have come to Idaho after a mother was filmed being arrested by police for allowing her children to play at a playground closed by coronavirus stay-at-home orders. Activist Post reports the incident happened in the city of Meridian, which, like most other places across the nation, closed down its public parks and recreational facilities for use. It immediately sparked a protest of about 100 people in front of Meridian City Hall in Idaho's third largest city. 40-year-old Sarah Brady had reportedly been at the playground with a small group of others as part of a playdate protest against the park closure, which they slammed as local government overreach against freedoms of people in the community. Police said they asked Brady to leave multiple times, while she's seen in a now viral video asking why the officers don't have masks on. It apparently took a global pandemic and corresponding economic shutdown of entire nations' economies for the American public to realize the U.S. military relies heavily on supplies involved in weapon systems manufacturing just south of the border. The Pentagon's Defense Undersecretary for Acquisition and Sustainment, Ellen Lord, urged at the start of the week that Mexico reopen those factories which many U.S. defense firms rely on, especially aircraft manufacturers previously shuttered due to COVID-19. Activist Post reports it follows Lord previously saying she would write Mexican Foreign Secretary Marcelo Ebrard to ask for help to reopen international suppliers in Mexico. Among major defense suppliers that have outsourced vital portions of their supply chain to Mexico include General Dynamics, Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Textron, General Electric, Honeywell, and others. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after members of the New York Police Department found a super sharp Buck brand pocket knife earlier this morning, Lieutenant Joseph Mattioli spoke to Onion reporters at the scene of the discovery to update the public on this potentially deadly blade.
At 8:40 a.m., police discovered what seems to be a pretty badass buck knife. Investigators believe it to be basically the deadliest knife ever.
Mattioli confirmed that the pretty cool wood-handled knife has a clean edge and added that the blade must be, quote, at least like 8 inches long.
At this time, we'd like everyone to be aware that there's probably a man out there with an eye patch and scars all over his face that has access to these knives, or maybe even a samurai sword, We urge people to be careful when approaching him because he may flip out and chop both your arms off before you even realize it.
Following the announcement, Mattioli asked people to come forward if they had any information about the owner of the knife or if they just wanted to hold it for a couple of seconds. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And evidently, someone went missing in China, and they've now been discovered or whatever. And this person is praising the police officers who detained him, which is definitely a normal reaction, right? For someone who has been detained to come out saying, you know what? That was a really pleasant experience.
I'm curious if he's being if his family's being detained and threatened. Like, what? Who? Where? If this happened in a foreign country, right? Then we'd be very, very suspicious.
It did happen in a foreign country.
Okay, then I'm suspicious.
I'm as suspicious as I am when it happens in the United States. But as far as I know, the people who get released from Gitmo haven't. Very few people who have been released from Gitmo haven't come out.
Is there somebody still in Gitmo? Let's check that out.
There are plenty of people still being tortured.
And I don't think that's exactly public information, Mark. I don't think the State Department website lists who's in Gitmo.
Probably not. But I know the people have been watching it for a long time.
It does have some names.
Oh yeah, like the public terrorists, like the big boogeymen.
Yeah. The supposed big boogeymen, we'll never know because they're not getting trials.
That's a good point. So this is from thedailycaller.com, and it took place in China. Li Zihua was one of several Chinese journalists who disappeared after reporting on the Chinese government's cover-up of a coronavirus outbreak. He was last seen on February 26 when he live-streamed authorities entering his apartment, the Committee to Protect Journalists noted. Zehua said he wasn't charged with any crimes, but was forcibly detained without any electronics until March 28th, according to The Guardian's translation of a video he posted on YouTube Wednesday. Zehua reportedly said that he had been spending time with his family since his release. And the video here is just of him wearing a T-shirt against a white background. He's not looking too happy. Throughout the whole time, the police acted civilly and legally, making sure I had rest and food. They really cared about me, Zehua said, according to The Guardian. The British paper noted that Zehua took a much more patriotic tone than he did before his arrest.
Shocking.
May God bless China and the people of the world unite, Zehua is reported as saying. Zehua worked as an anchor for a Chinese state television channel before he resigned in February and began independently reporting on the coronavirus outbreak.
And his report was that the government was not handling it well.
I bet it was covering it up.
And now he praises the government after having been detained by the government.
I guess they were very convincing. Maybe
so
he
this
was
guy's
wrong.
a doctor or a journalist.
He was an anchor for Chinese state television.
I see. Sorry about that. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's all right, Mark. I know you're getting up there in the age, so we got to repeat things for you. At least you're not running for president.
So I'm just thinking maybe, if this guy is an upstanding and useful member of society, maybe there's another country he can go to where they would experience more freedom. And maybe that country should welcome him. Rather than having to go here where it's obvious he's being used as a puppet for the Chinese government, right?
Well, why would he want to come to the U.S. when cops regularly shoot people and dogs and pepper spray them and keep them detained without cause for I think it was more of 72 hours and don't see these the Chinese cops, at least they said they allowed him to have rest. They allowed him to have food.
You'll get rest and food in a U.S. jail.
They let him hang out with his family. So isn't that nice?
That it is nice. I would say from talking to Chinese people, the first thing they talk about is all those guns that are in America. They're like, what? You people are nuts.
Really?
Yeah, they can't believe it. But there are two places on Saipan, which is the closest American soil to China, where you can fire guns. Like there's 2 gun ranges there, and the Chinese are there all the time going, they want to use a gun for the first time.
That's not surprising given the state of the Chinese government, but they don't understand that gun ownership is what keeps our government from being as bad as theirs.
Oh, I suspect not. I don't think any place around thinks that, no. And I don't think gun ownership is what makes our government any better than any other. I mean, like, honestly, people who are sufficiently oppressed can't be ruled.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's the Uyghur population there in the
They sure are going after those folks.
Province.
Yeah.
And they're certainly being
It's a shame
ruled.
it's a shame nobody will stand up for them, but sadly, you know.
Saudi Arabia is not standing up for them. Pakistan isn't.
No.
The United Arab Emirates, none of them have anything to say about the millions of Muslims being tortured in China. Because, then how will they sell their oil to China?
It's true.
Or as of late, how will they pay China to take their oil because they don't know what they're doing to the extent that they managed to push oil down to a negative dollar figure a few days ago.
I hear it's a good idea to buy an old oil tanker and just fill it full of oil right now.
Will the payment you get for storing the oil pay for the oil tanker?
Well, presumably if you're going to buy a tanker, then you could sell a tanker at some value. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've just heard the idea. I don't have any idea. I'm not going to do it. I can tell you that. I'm surprised there aren't places that people could just pump oil into the ground. I mean, the United States has the strategic oil reserves. Why not just buy this oil? Why doesn't the U.S. government just take delivery of all of this oil, fill up the strategic reserves, and go from there?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But in other news,
I thought Donald Trump was a businessman.
Things in certain places in the United States, they may not be as bad as they are in China, but they're certainly working on it. Police in Westport, Connecticut said that they will be testing a pandemic drone that can scan the body temperatures of residents to determine if they have fevers or other health symptoms in an effort to combat the coronavirus.
Does it say what model of drone it is? Because I hear that the Chinese, I think like DJI or one of the main drone manufacturers is based out of China, and I saw in it was actually cable news Tucker Carlson show that the Chinese government or at least the Chinese are giving U.S. police departments drones to use against U.S. civilians. So I wonder if this is from China also.
It doesn't state. Well, yes, it does. Aerospace company Dragonfly announced in a news release that the drones will be equipped with a specialized sensor and computer vision systems that can display heart and respiratory rates. So the police in Connecticut, in Westport, Connecticut, are just going to be flying around drones, monitoring your respiratory rate, your heart rate, and your temperature.
Mostly, I would say that my biggest problem with this is how they're going to fund it. Right?
That's your biggest problem with
this?
this?
Yes, it is. I, in fact, don't see any particular problem with a group of people determining what people outside's body temperature is. Is it
a group of
not
people who
libertarian?
aren't the police? I would agree.
Oh, I realize you have your biases. Okay, so...
Yes, I have biases against people who will shoot me if I don't obey them. I am indeed biased against people who threaten my life.
At this point, there's no proposal for obedience to this. It's just like, hey, looks like you've got a fever.
Return home. No, bang.
I don't see that as...
there are people already in the United States, or at least there were, who were being forcibly quarantined at home by police.
Yeah,
and if they had refused to comply, the police would have shot and killed them like police do.
So if CVS gets drones and flies them around and says, hey, we're having a sale on drugs that might help you with your fever, it's okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Because if they were like, hey, you look like you have coronavirus, you need to go home, I can give that drone the finger without worrying about, someone dropping a bomb on me or shooting me in the head.
They should really they're able to tag you with a paintball gun. Fever.
I would go for that if I can shoot them back.
Go ahead. I'm willing to trade a drone for every person wandering around with a fever right now.
So they're mostly concerned about who could be infected and how widespread the disease is. one way is to look for underlying symptoms like fever, respiratory rates, and things like that. So that's pretty much it. Westport is the epicenter for the virus outbreak in Connecticut.
I'm going to get me one of these temperature guns and just start scanning my friends.
Why? You might as well, right?
We're not going to be friends for long if you do that.
855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Find out about your common law rights. Move about the land freely in your personal conveyance or on foot. Know what to say if stopped by a man or woman in a costume and proceed safely on your way. Also, find out how to lawfully keep all the money you make free of tax. Protect your liberty and freedoms in a peaceful and lawful way by adding William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com to your Skype contacts. And let's talk free on Skype. That's William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And the Next Generation Wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. But there's no need to wait. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes that allow anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. That's DIVI project.org. Now, in response to the coronavirus, the government has been a bit overbearing. And we discussed earlier when...
a bit overbearing. A bit overbearing. I'd hate to see what a lot overbearing is, Aria.
I would agree. But I think even most Americans agree that this response is a bit... And I don't even think most is right, because most Americans are in support of the lockdown, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's unfortunate. This is the end of freedom in this country as we know it.
Well, it could be. But Americans do seem to be standing up for their freedoms, admittedly in some strange ways, like blocking hospital entrances and things like that. But whatever.
Well, I don't know if that was staged or not. There's a lot that seems somewhat suspicious about that video. I think you're referencing that video, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So in California, they're banning protests.
Yeah, it's the California Highway Patrol, which is famous from some sort of a TV series or something. Bans.
How old are you?
Bans protests. I vaguely know who Eric Estrada is. He's
Excellent.
He's a discount George Lopez. Okay, California Highway Patrol bans protests at California Capitol against stay-at-home order. So there's protests at the state capitol in California on Monday, where demonstrators defied Governor Gavin Newsom's orders banning large gatherings. The California Highway Patrol says it will no longer issue permits for events at any state properties, including the Capitol. Quote, permits are issued to provide safe environments for demonstrators to express their views, the CHP said in a statement. In this case, the permit for the convoy was issued with the understanding that the protest would be conducted in a manner consistent with the state's public health guidance. That is not what occurred, and CHP will take this experience into account when considering permits for this or any other group. Monday's protests, which mirrored others that...
If you need a permit to peaceably assemble, then you don't have the right to peaceably assemble. And people need to remember that, right? Like, this is really important. I get if you're walking down the street with a whole bunch of your friends and then you might want to have a permit to shut down the street ahead of time. I'm getting that part. If 1 million people want to march on Washington, maybe we need to let them know ahead of time so we can shut down some streets and get there. I get it. But
letting them know ahead of time isn't the same thing as, asking their permission. It's like, hey, we're coming, and you should probably be prepared to deal with that.
If you want to stand on the State House lawn and give a finger to the politicians who've been telling you you're not allowed to leave your house, that still peaceably assembling.
How many times last week did we do that?
And it should be completely legal. And any organization that claims that you need a permit to do that is, sorry about this, Chips, a tyrannical organization.
Well, their issue isn't even how many people are there. They just because they list people are standing shoulder to shoulder. So their issue is not that. Well, I mean that their stated issue is that people weren't following the social distancing guidelines.
Well, they're guidelines.
22 to 55 times as many people in Los Angeles have COVID-19 as is being reported currently.
Yeah.
Just letting folks know. Stand shoulder to shoulder. Apparently, it's not making a difference because, I don't know. These numbers don't seem to be making a difference.
So they actually had a protest Monday. That's surprising coming out of California.
Well, I figure if there's that many people there, right? There's like dozens of millions of people. So you're bound to have at least a few people who are, or at least some sort of proportion of people who are going to be against it. I mean, New Hampshire has like a very small fraction of a population California has. And we had a pretty decent turnout. Like I've seen numbers from like between 250 to 450 in Concord on Saturday. Austin, Texas had a similar turnout. So I think even in these terrain, I mean, I guess, yeah, it is good news that even in these, tyranny, communist states, there were still quite a few people who refused to just totally buy this hysteria.
We didn't have very many people Monday actually come out, but the response that we got was overwhelmingly positive. I mean, we did have a few people, give us the bird, but that was rare. Most people were very, very friendly, very supportive. So,
well, I don't have
not
any
all lost.
particular desire to go hanging out with a whole bunch of people on the State House lawn. However,
why not?
I just don't want to do it.
Okay.
But I will say,
are you scared of COVID?
I was scared of viruses before COVID. So it's not really fair to sort of paint me as, this person who's scared of COVID.
Well, you are carrying hand sanitizer now.
I was carrying hand sanitizer before, too.
Were you?
I wasn't carrying wipes.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna. Why not? They're great. Don't take up that much space either. So,
were you hesitant to hand people USB flash drives before COVID?
No. Now I'm playing that up. You were talking about before that ahead of time, but you did sanitize afterward. I cheer a little bit inside every time I watch Iron Man, and he talks about he tells Agent Coulson he doesn't like it when people hand him things, and I don't like it when people hand me things. I prefer not to have your things, whatever they are. I don't want to you don't give them to me. I have people for that.
So when you go to a store, do you put the money there on the counter? Like, here's your money, filthy peasant?
No, I give them their money, and then I use hand sanitizer when I leave.
Okay. So this is just your regular patterns of behavior.
Yeah, it is.
Psychotic,
you can ask Ian. He's gone to conventions with me. People walk away after I after I've forgotten and shake their hands. So I've used my hand sanitizer and just kind of clean it up. I don't make a big deal about it. I just, I don't want to get. I've been on too many airplanes, gotten too sick from too many conventions. I'm sick of it. Sick and tired of some person over there didn't wash their hands enough and gave me whatever the croup was, this plague that they've been carrying around, and now I've got to suffer for 3 or 4 days afterwards. I mean, yeah, I hate it.
I mean, it sounds like a better solution would just be to not go.
I feel like I have to go for conventions.
Okay. So your solution is to basically treat them like walking germs.
Well, keep my hands sanitized as best I can.
Okay.
Well, what sort of state do you keep your immune system in? I mean, are you taking like vitamin D supplements? Or are you taking make sure you have adequate vitamin C, zinc? Because, immune response is like that. That's the majority of where the battle takes place, right? You're going to get some sort of germ or virus in you eventually.
Sure.
No matter how often you wash your hands. So how are you keeping your immune system, Mark?
I take a small handful of pills every single day, including three
Is that the Better
Maltese,
Nature thing or whatever they are?
Nature's Balance of Nature.
That's it.
I haven't gotten any one from them for a while. Those aren't vitamins. That's food in a capsule.
Well, it's a supplement, right?
Yeah.
To help you get your fruits and vegetables intake without actually having to eat fruits and vegetables, presumably. 855-450-3733.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
The victims of a devastating tornado expressed gratitude that The Onion's 3-part series on the disaster was reported with fairness, accuracy, and an unusual degree of sensitivity. Survivors said they were at least thankful for one thing, that The Onion put much more care and insight into their reporting of the tragedy than any competing newspaper, by far. In economic news, a Pulitzer Prize would very much help certain newspapers increase their circulation, resulting in greater ad sales and more revenue to pay their tireless, hardworking reporters, all of whom have families at home to care for. In other headlines, a group known as Americans for Fairness in Awarding Journalism Prizes is asking all Americans to help The Onion receive a Pulitzer Prize. An anonymous man says he will murder 50 innocent people if The Onion is not awarded a Pulitzer. And look at it, it's beautiful. Look, just give us a Pulitzer already, okay? This is humiliating. For more prize-worthy stories and videos, go to theonion.com/review.
This is the Onion News Network.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And among the crazy things going on right now, the state of Missouri is suing China over the coronavirus pandemic. According to the Washington Post, it's just the latest conservative gambit. So getting into the article here, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt sued the Chinese government and the ruling Communist Party on Tuesday, making his state the first to seek damages from China over its appalling campaign of deceit, concealment, misfeasance, and inaction that he says unleashed the coronavirus pandemic. Strong words. The Chinese government lied.
I'm still stuck on misfeasance.
Yeah, I think they meant malfeasance. Yeah.
Well, malfeasance would be bad. Misfeasance would be a lack of whatever the heck feasance are.
So I
love the word malfeasance. It's such an attorney word. I've never heard anyone who wasn't an attorney use it seriously.
I got to find out what a feasance is.
I did look up misfeasance. It stands for a transgression, especially the wrongful exercise of lawful authority.
Did you look up feasance?
Well, let me get into the etymology now on national radio, Mark.
It's defined as feasance is defined as a legal term for how something is done or accomplished. An example of feasance is how well a person completed their community service. There you go.
Okay, whatever. The Chinese government.
So is it bonfeasance, buenfeasance? Exactly what would it be?
What, the antonym?
Like good feasance?
Yeah, the good
just
feasance.
Feasance, I guess.
Pro-feasance.
It's just, well, feasance is just the action, not a good action.
Okay. Are you sure?
How something is done or
if
accomplished.
If a misfeasance is negative, then malfeasance would be positive, right?
I don't think so.
Why are we discussing this?
Because feasance is a fun word.
Malfeasance is a fun word. Like, the first time I ever saw an attorney use it was in dealing with this company who's like, there has been a serious malfeasance here, writing to this other company. I was just like, that is the most attorney statement I've ever read. And then we hear misfeasance.
Non-feasance.
Are you looking up various prefixes that can go along with it?
I'm doing my best here. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on the feasances.
The Chinese government lied to the world about the danger and contagious nature of COVID-19, silenced whistleblowers, and did little to stop the spread of the virus. Schmidt said in a statement announcing the lawsuit, they must be held accountable for their actions. Surely likely to end well. I can't imagine the Chinese government would even show up for this, right?
Well,
how would this even work?
Well, there are world courts.
There's the world court, yeah.
But there's also sovereignty, too. So I think that because I saw this on the news, and the one example people have pointed to of it being, quote, successful was with Iran, where I think the world court or whatever court body that they went through did rule against Iran. But, I mean, what does Iran have to lose, right? I mean, they don't have to do anything. There's no, like, UN world court army that's going to enforce any sort of ruling.
Well, thank goodness for that.
What I really love about nations is that nations can take nations to court, and then nations don't respond to the rulings of court. It's like a bunch of hobos fighting each other over a pork chop. I mean, it's amazing. These people have no responsibility for their actions. So I would ask this. If Missouri is a legitimate geopolitical designation, and it is, if it is a sovereign territory, and it is, if China fits that definition,
and it does,
why should they not be able to take China to world court and say, hey, y'all lied about what was going on with Corona, and as a result, we reacted completely differently than we would had you told the truth. And so
I don't believe that for a moment. I mean, they can make the claim.
The claim has been made. If you have a lie and damages, you've got some kind of fraud claim, right? And then there should be a ruling by the court. So I'm for this. Why not?
Well, I got to say, even worse than just lying, like part of the the evidence towards China behaving maliciously with this was that they shut down internal domestic travel from Wuhan while still allowing international flights in. So if you're in China, you can't go to Wuhan from Beijing or go from Wuhan to Beijing because it's quarantine. They stopped those flights, but you could go from LA, Vancouver, anywhere else in the world to Wuhan and then back. So for me, I think if they shut down one but not the other, then yeah, for me that's incredibly suspicious, or very suspect, rather, beyond suspicious.
Well, perhaps they thought that quarantining Wuhan or shutting down Wuhan was a sufficient solution.
Well, but they're still letting people from other countries come in and then go out.
Come into China, right?
Yeah, but not into Wuhan. No, into Wuhan.
They were letting people go into Wuhan and then not leave?
No, people would leave. So they're allowing international flights into Wuhan while domestic flights weren't allowed in Wuhan.
Have you been lied to by the United States government concerning this corona thing?
I'm sure. Well, everything the state says is a lie.
That's a bias, not a statement of fact, right? Like, to the best of our knowledge, everything that these people, who are generally considered liars and thieves, have said has been true to the best of their knowledge under these circumstances, right?
I don't believe that.
They may be correct or incorrect, but I don't believe that about China and their information surrounding Corona. I believe we're talking about a cover-up on a variety of things going on. I don't know.
But you don't think that's true of the American government?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't.
Is it because they're white and the Chinese ones aren't?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, just nationalist tendencies in general.
Why do you think that the numbers are being pushed down, pushed up? I don't see the United States government as having any, especially Donald Trump at this point, who's on the record as saying this is a hoax, and now has to sort of walk that back as being the kind of, there's no benefit to him to push the numbers up, right?
There's benefit to him to push the numbers down.
Okay. He's not getting to. Fauci's not letting him.
Why do you trust Fauci?
I'm just saying there are different.
I'm trying to figure out why you trust the American government more than the Chinese government.
Thank you for helping me come to a conclusion. The reason is that you have two groups here that are fighting each other.
Our government and their government.
No, the Democrats and the Republicans.
Government.
Okay. Fighting over the ring of power, as they do. And because we have, these two groups hopefully holding each other responsible to some level. I'm not saying I want to sleep with my wallet, on the bedside table with these politicians around or anything. I don't trust them. But I am saying that, no, I don't think they're overtly lying, because the other side would catch them in the lie and then dance around doing a party dance with the lie. Whereas with China...
Like Trump is literally doing, though?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you said that he said it was a hoax, and now he's having to dance around and backpedal that.
Right.
I don't think he said it was a hoax. I thought he compared it to the flu.
Right, he did compare it to the flu.
Yes.
And
which now it turns out that it looks like he was right.
As far as the death count goes, it's looking very similar to the flu. And I think that you can make the statement that this is just the flu and it still be a bad case of the flu. So if the flu averages at 35,000 deaths per year and this has 80,000 deaths or whatever, then... Yeah, well, obviously there's been a lockdown in between, so you really can't say how many deaths there would have been. But that's kind of the problem: is you can't take away people's freedom and then declare yourself righteous at the same time, right? Like we don't know how many deaths there would have been had the lockdown not occurred, and I don't think the lockdown would have occurred. It's just a guess on my part. Had China been more clear about the numbers, if China had said something to the effect of, "Whoa, weird things are happening over here," instead of acting like, well, everything that goes on in China is the responsibility of the Communist Party, so we got to make sure that it looks like everything's great here.
I tend to think the lockdowns would have happened sooner, and immigration would have been shut down sooner if China had been, quote, honest. I mean, in what manner were they dishonest?
I don't think shutting down immigration is the worst thing that they could have done.
What do you think? 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in freedom.
Now, with orders to stay at home, public health concerns, the reality of illness due to pathogens and viruses, your health is at an all-time high risk. That's why it's critical to take a proactive approach to boost your immune system. You can with new nano-colloidal silver from Americare, our patented process with tiny silver particles, 1/100th the size of a red blood cell, allows for maximum body absorption. Americare's nano-colloidal silver effectively disinfects your body internally, attacking pathogens and viruses while supercharging your immune system. Colloidal silver is antibacterial and antiviral. Simply put, it prohibits bacterial respiration, suffocating viral cells, preventing the virus from replicating. And now, due to public health concern, Americare is authorized to offer our lowest and best price ever, around $1 a day, but supplies are limited. Purchase nano-colloidal silver now at immunesupportnow.com. That's immunesupportnow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Supplies are limited.
This is a Corona Crisis Self-Reliance Alert. If you're worried about the power grid in the current crisis and want to generate your own supply of off-the-grid electrical power, just in case, pay close attention. Here's why. A limited supply of solar backup generators will be available again in the next 2 weeks. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical backup power when you get off the grid. And unlike gas generators, these solar generators run quietly, emit no fumes, and produce an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. Dangerous weather, social unrest, or overloaded grids this summer will not be a problem if you go to mysolarbackup.com and get your solar backup generator. We regret that supplies are limited and only available on a first-come, first-served basis. Check availability at mysolarbackup.com. Never suffer painful power outages again. Go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And you know, we've been talking about these little things called protests and this right to assembly thing. But Vox, that's VOX, is very, very upset with us. And we don't exist anymore. They have so declared it to be true.
Well, what do you mean by us? Mark, how many protests have you gone to so far? Not including ones that you said you would go to, but forgot.
I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan of protests generally, but yeah, I went to, there was one on Central Square where y'all were hanging out for Social Sundays.
I don't know if protest is the right word for that.
I wouldn't call that either.
It's just going about our lives as normal.
And nightcaps,
you're doing your best to go about your life as normal.
And yes. Nightcaps are us just behaving as we normally do in our degenerate manner, just in public, right? We're just public acts of degeneracy. I wouldn't say that's too much of a protest. At least after the first time the cops didn't show up.
Here I am trying to act generately.
Generately.
So if you've watched Fox News recently, you might think there's a small revolution afoot in Red America. A series of anti-social distancing rallies have popped up across the country in Michigan, Wisconsin, Texas, New Hampshire. They didn't mention that one, but I'm going to, and elsewhere. As my colleague Jane Costa noted, it harks back to the Tea Party craze in 2009 when well-funded right-leaning groups lit a fire under an already outraged Republican base and helped to ignite a political movement.
Oh, this is the old astroturfing claim, right? Everything that the other side does is a bunch of BS. We're the only side that really has real Americans that really want things. So, all these people who are out there protesting, none of their voices matter because, well, there's people with money behind it or something.
Sure.
This is done by both sides.
That's why they said elsewhere, because if they listed any other state like New Hampshire, which at this point is a purple state, California, any of these other states where you have protests, it would immediately torpedo the headline and their argument, Red America.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yeah. So the Tea Party was never representative of the country, but it was at least...
Tea Party wasn't supposed to be representative of the country. The Tea Party never said, we're the country. What the Tea Party said was, we're sick and tired of the taxation coming out of Washington, D.C. That's why they called it the Tea Party. And we think government's inefficient and they're not being held responsible. We want some people in there that are going to stand for our values. And they got it. They got a few. You know, I mean, this Massey guy
until they got
Rand
taken
Paul,
over by Michelle Bachmann.
right? And then the Tea Party did get turned at one point, but it started out as sort of a Ron Paul thing.
Ron Paul founded it.
Yeah, and the Tea Party were the same, sort of the same thing. And then it was like, at some point or another, and they're like, yeah, we want lower taxes and get rid of the Mexicans, right? Like then it kind of twisted off and, torqued and went into a different direction.
You know, crazy Uncle Ron always talking about the unsustainability of multiple wars.
Yep.
So that's just not true of these anti-lockdown protests, which also are not claiming to be representative of the country. I'm not claiming to be representative of anyone but myself.
What I see a lot of people who are talking about this sort of let's stay at home kind of nonsense thing is people that have their livelihoods taken care of. Now, they may not be rich, but they're handled, as it were. Either they get a government check of some sort, they've got a spouse who's handled, whatever the situation is,
or a politician or in the media,
whatever the case may be, they're okay. Now look, I'm a guy who stays home all day. I do, and I'd have for months, years stayed at home. I don't have to go out to work.
Isn't it the case right now, though, that such people who are put out of work because of this are making more money?
Some people are making more money. Some people aren't.
Aren't they getting like an extra $600 per week or something from unemployment?
There is more, but some people can't get their unemployment for a variety of reasons.
And some dead people are getting unemployment.
Don't you love government? Astonishingly, as Vox's Laura McGann argued, Americans are most united in their willingness to social distance, Republicans included. Presumably that doesn't include libertarians, though. But even libertarians are strongly leaning toward this whole, oh no, we have to listen to the government thing, except they're not saying that. They're saying we have to listen to medical professionals who, by sheer coincidence, have allied themselves with the state.
Well, okay, so medical professionals are going to give you the safest advice they can give you.
They're going to give you the advice that keeps them employed and getting benefits from the state.
That's
what intellectuals have always done.
If the medical, why in the world wouldn't they just go ahead and say, don't worry about anything and go out and French kiss everybody and get sick and then come on in here?
Because it doesn't benefit the state for them to do that.
All right.
They get their money from the state, far more of their money from the state than they do from ordinary people.
I think we know how viruses work.
Sure.
And we don't need medical professionals to tell us, right? Like viruses, you can get sick by going out there. All right, let me backtrack a little. The dirtiest thing you're going to come in contact with today is a human being or came from a human being. And by dirty, I don't mean gritty little rocks that have been worn away by water. I mean filth, things that's going to get you sick. That stuff, whether it's the human being or the product of a human being, that stuff's what's dangerous. That stuff's what's ultimately going to kill you in all likelihood, or your terrible diet or your cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean you specifically. One's terrible diet or one's cigarettes.
I figured that after that gargantuan burger you ate earlier.
Yeah, God, it's so good.
Remember that little discussion we had about you not criticizing my vices while you eat that portable heart attack?
I don't really recall you talking about your vices, but I mean, every time I see you smoking outside the studio, I feel
you
so
talked
bad
about
for
my
you.
vices.
You're talking about portable heart attack. You got a big gulp of Monster there.
Oh, yeah. But I don't criticize people for their own things.
You don't intend to live past 50 either.
I don't.
Okay.
And to help ensure that happens in 3.5 minutes, I'm going to go outside and have one of those delicious cigarettes.
I know you are.
So the impression you get watching some of the coverage on Fox News suggests that we're witnessing a popular revolt against draconian public health measures. But if this isn't some spontaneous popular uprising, what is it? Is it even a real protest? And who's behind it? I've seen people suggesting that the Koch brothers are behind, these protests. I'm like,
One of them's dead.
Whichever one isn't dead then.
Koch Foundation?
Yeah. Okay. I would appreciate my check from the Koch Foundation. I've gotten my government check, but not one from the stimulus check.
How'd you get a check? Why didn't I get a check?
Well, I work a real job now that automatically takes payroll taxes out.
Are you claiming I don't have a real job?
Well, this one automatically takes out payroll taxes.
Okay.
So in order to get that money back so that the state wouldn't keep it, I actually filed my taxes this year.
No.
And by sheer coincidence, several months later, the government was like, oh, yeah, you filed your taxes. Here's a $1,200 check.
Sweet.
I guess.
Well, don't you have to? I heard that next year, whenever things go back to quote normal, they're going to withhold that $1,200 from your.
I don't see any evidence of that.
Well, I hear people talking about it. That's why I'm asking. I don't know if you heard anything, Aria, about that.
No.
Most people don't pay in that much. So, I mean, that would be withholding several years' worth of tax refunds. And if they want to really make America angry, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. No. I think this is just free money. And frankly,
free is relative.
Okay. How is it not?
Well, it comes with an inflation cost at the very least. It comes with a boot on your neck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. What's the boot on my neck from the check?
Well, you didn't get a check, did you? It's a bribe, is what it is.
Well, what do you mean, though? Who's it bribing, and what's the boot?
It's bribing the American people to support the government, to stay at home.
Okay.
To listen to the government.
Most of the people who are getting the check aren't going to change who they're going to vote for.
I don't know, man. Trump just gave every single American, well, not every single American, but a lot of Americans, $1,200.
The Democrats, while they were busy trying to impeach him, gave him every opportunity to step right in and do this.
I know they did.
It's as though they don't understand how the playbook works.
And what I'm suggesting is that probably did change a few people's minds about Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I was on Black Twitter, which is just Twitter where a lot of African American users are, and oh my God, all the pro-Trump memes, all people saying a Trump is their daddy. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, at least from what I saw on Twitter, obviously Twitter doesn't represent the whole country, but there's a lot more goodwill towards Trump than normal. At least when the checks were first sent out.
Yeah, I don't know if it will last, but at the very least, I imagine a lot of people
send out another check in October.
Right. I mean, at what point does this become buying votes?
As long as it's not his money, it's not buying votes, right?
I guess so. I'm not a fan of it, though.
Oh, no, it's awful.
They've already been buying votes for years, for decades now.
Right. Chicken in every pot. You've heard it before.
They're just less creative.
And now they're talking about $2,000 per month. 855-450-3733.
We have a 12-year-old German Shepherd named Sophie, and she became overweight, stinky, greasy coat, and lifeless almost. Then about 4 years ago, we found out she had several vertebrae fused together. She was unable to walk. The vet told us Sophie was going to have to be euthanized. I thought, I've got to do something. DINOVITE.com. I remember Sophie starting the Dynovite, and she from day one has loved it. She is no longer stinky. She is full of life. Dynovite healed Sophie. Dynovite is nutrition. I truly recommend that people not wait until the vet recommends euthanasia. You have to get them on Dynovite right away while they're healthy.
Dynovite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite from DINOVITE.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,723. Silver at $15.12. And Bitcoin is trading around $7,131. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, food security remains a significant problem during the coronavirus lockdowns. And the next big issue unfolding is the shuttering of the nation's food plants that could drive food inflation sky high. Activist Post on Wednesday reported that Tyson Fresh Meats, the beef and pork subsidiary of Tyson Foods, released a statement that said its plant in Waterloo, Iowa, will suspend operations until further notice. The company said the Waterloo location is its largest pork plant and has been running at reduced output due to worker absenteeism. Tyson is planning to test all 2,800 workers for COVID-19 at the facility later this week. The company said workers would be compensated while the plant is closed. There was no firm timeline on when the plant would reopen. Meat prices across the country are surging as food processing plants are closing because of the virus. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Mass anti-lockdown protests like those recently seen in state capitals of Michigan and Pennsylvania have come to Idaho after a mother was filmed being arrested by police for allowing her children to play at a playground closed by coronavirus stay-at-home orders. Activist Post reports the incident happened in the city of Meridian, which, like most other places across the nation, closed down its public parks and recreational facilities for use. It immediately sparked a protest of about 100 people in front of Meridian City Hall in Idaho's third largest city. 40-year-old Sarah Brady had reportedly been at the playground with a small group of others as part of a playdate protest against the park closure, which they slammed as local government overreach against freedoms of people in the community. Police said they asked Brady to leave multiple times, while she's seen in a now viral video asking why the officers don't have masks on. It apparently took a global pandemic and corresponding economic shutdown of entire nations' economies for the American public to realize the U.S. military relies heavily on supplies involved in weapon systems manufacturing just south of the border. The Pentagon's Defense Undersecretary for Acquisition and Sustainment, Ellen Lord, urged at the start of the week that Mexico reopen those factories, which many U.S. defense firms rely on, especially aircraft manufacturers previously shuttered due to COVID-19. Activist Post reports it follows Lord previously saying she would write Mexican Foreign Secretary Marcelo Ebrard to ask for help to reopen international suppliers in Mexico. Among major defense suppliers that have outsourced vital portions of their supply chain to Mexico include General Dynamics, Boeing, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Textron, General Electric, Honeywell, and others. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The new Netflix Gas lets users instantly inhale multiple seasons of TV shows. An Aria man is worried the nation's healthcare debate might be getting political, and a bullied 8th grader incorrectly thought classmates would leave him alone during a field trip to the 9/11 memorial. Don't mistake my kind, gentle tone for one of love or support. This is the Onion Week in Review. According to a report released this Tuesday, no one, absolutely no one, will ever stack up to your 8th grade boyfriend, Brian Bowden, who you dated for 6 weeks in middle school. A 43-page study from Stanford University confirmed that no other guy in your life will ever be as kind or caring as the 13-year-old who held your hand during the scary parts of Jurassic Park, who had that really cool chain wallet, and who bought you 2 pink carnations on Valentine's Day. The report added that while your current boyfriend does have a lot going for him, he will certainly never cut class with you to listen to the dead Kennedy's Frankenchrist on a Sony Discman. Brian used to do that with you. He used to do it all the time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about the coronavirus, but luckily we can finally get away from that because a circuit court at some level, Vincent is pulling it up, has ruled that it's acceptable to shoot police in self-defense. Now, I imagine there's some qualifications to this because I know the story you're talking about.
Sounds breathtaking.
You have to have a lot. You can shoot cops in self-defense as long as you have a lot of money and a lawyer.
Well, the cops weren't in uniform. They were undercover. So I imagine that it's a bit different shooting a cop who is in uniform.
Okay.
So this is from ammoland.com on 20th,
awesome website.
On 20th August 2015 in Brevard County, Florida.
Brevard. I lived there.
John DeRosset,
I could feel the eye roll.
55, shot and severely wounded a Brevard County Sheriff's deputy. The agent was part of a sting operation who were attempting to arrest DeRosset's niece, Mary Ellis, for prostitution. They had set up a controlled environment at a motel, but Mary Ellis did not show up. And the next portion is from FloridaToday.com. Brevard County agent set a prostitution sting to arrange to meet the guy's niece. So they set it up. When she didn't show, the 3 deputies in plain clothes went to her Covina Street home in Port St. John, where Agent Peter Stead grabbed Ellis from the doorway while John, quote, Casey Smith, and Jason Roberts hid in the darkened yard. During their testimony at the immunity hearing, the deputies said it was unusual to go to a suspect's home for a sting operation when a controlled environment had already been established. When she was grabbed, Ellis began screaming for help from her uncle, who was in a back room eating at the time, according to court records. There was strong evidence.
This does not sound anything like police behavior. I mean, I'm not a fan of the police, but hey, you hide in the shadows here. I'm going to go up and kidnap this girl out of her doorway.
This is crazy.
And he, despite knowing that his niece had problems with drugs and prostitution, his statements immediately after the event and in the hospital were all consistent with the belief that unknown men were attempting to kidnap his niece.
That's because they were.
DeRosset was retired. He had a concealed carry permit. He had no criminal record, and he had taken his niece to his home as a favor to his sister. And he's a, retired auto. Okay, so then they give a whole sob story. Ellis answered a knock at the door on the front door. As she opened the door, a man reached inside the threshold of a house, grabbed her arm, and began pulling Ellis out of a home and onto the covered front porch. Ellis struggled to resist her apparent abduction and screamed to her uncle that she needed help. At this point, 2 of her men approached to physically assist the first man in pulling Ellis off a porch of the home and into the front yard. So John DeRosset was in the back room eating when he heard her screams. It was dark outside the house. The first shot was when DeRosset fired a warning shot into the air. And I just got to say, most places, even if it's like a clear case of legal use of force, some places, if you fire a warning shot, they're going to charge you with like negligent use of a
they really
fire.
hate warning shots for some reason. Now, firing into the air is bad.
Aren't you supposed to fire a warning shot into the ground?
I would say that's better, but we've had a guy on the show here that went out and fired into the ground to try to get people out of his house that were there. I guess his roommate had some kind of party without his knowledge, and that wasn't acceptable. He's trying to get rid of them. They were breaking things, and I don't know. It was a big mess. And, so he went out and fired his gun into the ground, and the police charged him with negligent, discharge or whatever the charge was. And
what kind of penalty is that?
It wasn't much of one.
Probably going to take your...
But basically, you couldn't own a gun anymore.
And I will say, in the ground, it could ricochet and hit a rock or something. So there really is no safe place to fire a gun. The men who had accosted his niece, the deputies, then fired at him without identifying themselves. A firefight ensued. One deputy, John Casey Smith, was severely wounded. More than 40 shots were fired. Both John DeRossette and his niece were wounded, but less severely. The homeowner was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder of a police officer. Police claim they told the niece they were police officers as they grabbed her. She called 911 during or immediately after the firefight.
Well, hold on just a second.
Yeah, let's time out.
Time out. This is really important. Okay. For those that don't know, I know this is going to come as a little shock to you. I spent 8.5 years in prison. One of the things the convicts would do is train for their crimes in the future. One of the ways they would go about doing that is telling each other, hey, make sure to always identify yourself as the police, because it throws the victim off.
I would imagine it does.
Yeah.
And here you have 3 strange men who you were supposed to meet in a hotel room earlier, and you got cold feet for whatever reason. It sounds like she made a good judgment and decided not to do it. They then showed up at her house in plain clothes, attempted to kidnap her, said, "We're the police."
Well, they claimed that they said they were the police. During the 911 call, she claimed that she told the dispatcher that she didn't know who the men were, and also the deputies didn't have an arrest warrant. So in this case, it is legitimate kidnapping. We can not even tongue-in-cheek libertarian, arrest is legal kidnapping. In this case, it seems that this appears to be genuine kidnapping from a certain point of view.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is exactly.
From most point of views, I would say, I think even the hardcore Republicans out there would agree that these cops were kidnapping this girl.
Yeah, I don't want to get sued for defamation. I'm paranoid, so I'm just going to say from a certain point of view, it appears, because I don't think the cops were charged.
Well, they should have been, because they are criminals. They are kidnappers.
Well, in this case, they're following the orders, so they can't be charged because it's the system that they're working for.
Well, then the person who gave the orders should be charged. Yeah. I can imagine that a sergeant ordered them to go to this girl's house
with no arrest warrant
in their plain clothes at night.
Sergeant isn't exactly very high up on the list, so it could very well have been. But this does seem ill-conceived. Yes. Now, and it makes one wonder.
Ill-conceived.
At what point does it move from an arrest to kidnapping? At which point, right? Or from kidnapping to an arrest. So here we have 3 strange men hiding in the shadows of a house.
2 were hiding in the shadows. The third was attempting to
grab a woman, drag her out of her house. They claim that they, identified themselves as the police. No cams that we have because, well, they weren't in uniform. So, we just have to take their word for it. And then, the homeowner comes out and brandishes and fires a warning shot.
As he should have.
Right. And,
if 3 people come in and try to kidnap me and say we're the police and they're just 3 random looking people.
If he plugged these 3 guys,
getting shot.
Boom, 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 in his front yard, he would have been justified had they not been police, right?
He would have been justified if they were police.
Well, wait a second.
Because they were police.
So then they become police, but they're not police in uniform. Is he then justified?
Yes.
And the court appears to be saying, yes, they are. Now, if they had a police car with the light gumballs going out in front, but they had uniforms on, would it be more acceptable or less acceptable to plug them? If they had half a uniform but not the full uniform on, would it be acceptable? Do they have to have the full uniform on? Exactly what point? Because people can get a police car. People can get a uniform. There was a place in downtown Bradenton where I used to live that sold all this stuff.
There's a retired police car right out here outside the studio.
Right,
you can order blue lights from China.
You can pull this off, and people have.
There's a sex shop you could get cop costumes.
But I would say that it's no more or less morally acceptable to shoot a cop in uniform. It's just a very bad idea. It's a horrifically bad idea.
Oh, it's a bad idea.
But morally, it's equivalent.
And he was in jail for 5 years because of the first See here, the
For
lawyer
protecting his niece from kidnappers.
Yes, jail for 5 years. At trial, his lawyer presented the defense that he was protected by the stand your ground law. The local court found against him, saying that he knew or should have known the people he was shooting at were law enforcement officers.
And how?
He should have known.
They just said it. Oh, this was a local court?
Yeah, so he appealed.
Yuck.
He appealed to the federal Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in 2019.
And he's out of prison now, right?
It appears so. The appeals court found a local court had incorrectly made the determination de Rosette should have known that the men attacking his niece and him were police officers. So for once, a federal court actually makes sense. Yeah.
What do you think? Is it okay to shoot cops who aren't in uniform and who show up randomly to kidnap one of your family members without doing anything but saying, without a warrant and without saying only, they're cops? 855-450-3733.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
We have a 12-year-old German Shepherd named Sophie, and she became overweight, stinky, greasy coat, and lifeless almost. Then about 4 years ago, we found out she had several vertebrae fused together. She was unable to walk. The vet told us Sophie was going to have to be euthanized. I thought, I've got to do something. DINOVITE.com. I remember Sophie starting the Dinovite, and she from day one has loved it. She is no longer stinky. She is full of life. Dinovite healed Sophie. Dinovite is nutrition. I truly recommend that people not wait until the vet recommends euthanasia. You have to get them on Dinovite right away while they're healthy.
Dinovite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of...
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
Mark, tell us about Intercoin.
Intercoin's team spent the last decade helping communities release apps to unite their members and coordinate social activity. Now communities can release currencies to coordinate economic activity too. They represent a soft but voluntary power, encouraging people to spend the currency on local goods and services that accept it, or to support the community with small fees when cashing out unused coins. Towns already do this to battle globalism, and festivals can create an extended online community that transacts in their currency year-round. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and here in the real world. We think that it's important here on Free Talk Live, so important so that we accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Inc. for advertising. If you think freedom is important too, check out Intercoin at intercoin.org. That's intercoin.org. You can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. Intercoin.org.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's go to the phones. We got Greg calling from New York. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. I wanted to share some news which I found very interesting today. Senator McConnell, did you hear this? He said that he would
Cocaine
rather,
Mitch?
Turtle Mitch.
Mr. Mitch.
Wait, is Mitch the turtle-looking one?
Yes, that's what he has been compared to.
Well, he looks like a turtle.
He's got truthful Tourette's. He basically says what he thinks. And right now he thinks that states affected by the coronavirus should declare bankruptcy and the federal government shouldn't bail out those states, which I found to be a very interesting
Should or
thing.
shouldn't?
He says, should not.
Okay.
Should not.
So they would just declare bankruptcy and the feds wouldn't do anything about it. What would be the point of declaring bankruptcy if the feds could do nothing about it?
Well, it would be like Detroit declaring, the city of Detroit declaring bankruptcy, and then the pensioners might get reduced pensions. But ultimately, that bankruptcy turned out okay. But some bankruptcies could turn out pretty badly, and then the pensioners would be screwed, and city services could be slashed, and the city's assets could be owned by foreign interests, basically.
Just be spitballing here, but if you're trying to get hands into the American people to stimulate the economy, there's a few groups that I would head towards right off the bat. I mean, first, it would be the poor. As fast as I could get money into the hands of the poor, because frankly, they're going to spend it. You know, like the poor aren't going to do as Forbes magazine just points out today. People are taking their Bitcoin, their stimulus money, and buying Bitcoin. The poor aren't going to buy Bitcoin with their stimulus check unless they intend to frequent a hooker.
A lot of people did not. Like prior to last week, I had people messaging me, "Hey, make sure you have this available because I'm going to spend my stimulus check on it." Not one of them actually did.
Yeah. Well, it's only $1,200. You know, I mean,
what is that though? Like 0.2 Bitcoins, something along those lines right now? I mean, that's not inconsequential.
Okay.
And it puts them halfway to owning more Bitcoin than 99% of the world's population will ever be able to own.
There you go.
You know, I wasn't going to bring this up, but it's just very relevant. What you're saying, if you want to deliver money to everyone's wallet at the same time, that's like an airdrop. You know, cryptocurrency excels at that.
You can use Handcash, which is a cash app-like app developed for Bitcoin SV. You can just enter their names and send everyone $1 worth of BSV.
I bet you could do that with Intercoin too. It's a feature.
That's right. I was just going to bring up that Intercoin, one of the features is that every community, in my opinion, these states, these cities, they should have their own currency. And if they need to help their citizens, not just the federal government can print money, but I think they should be able to print some money and run their own monetary policy and just give everybody, some money. Like you said, the poor, because the way the federal government did it with the IRS, I mean, I didn't get my check yet, and I don't expect to get it.
I understand the reasoning there, but the issue is a lot of our goods come from China and other states. They're not locally produced, right? So you're going to have this community with a community-specific currency that China may or may not want.
On Intercoin, the atomic swaps are sort of built right in. I mean, there's no creating a an app for that. The app already exists from the time you start, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like if you're going to Paris, let's say you're a tourist, this whole thing is over, you're going to Paris, right?
Yep.
And I'm from New York. So I take my New York coin and I pay a restaurant in Paris, and the whole thing happens seamlessly. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to look for exchange rates. I simply go ahead and pay, and the thing gets swapped atomically. New York gets swapped for Intercoin, and Intercoin gets swapped for Paris coin. And now I've got
that's
Paris
a cool
coin.
feature, but why can't you just use Bitcoin Cash in New York and then Bitcoin Cash in Paris?
Well, the main reason is because Bitcoin and Ethereum run on like a global blockchain. So they can't handle payments. If everyone paid at the same time, they can only have 10 people at a time pay. Now with Bitcoin Cash, there's a bigger block size.
Well, the network would probably scale up to some extent. I mean, if adoption hit those kinds of levels where everybody was going to be making transactions.
It's conjecture. Another aspect is the government hates Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin and Dash and these sorts of things because they don't control the creation of it.
Yeah.
Well, if you can create a currency that they can then have some kind, well, they do get to create their the community, and then you can separate out the community. So there's New York coin, right? And then there's the forget about it coin, right? And then there's pizza coin, right? Or whatever, all within the New York community. They can all have their own currencies, and they can move in like a fish through water through these currencies. Your transactions move. This gives a sort of great deal of scalability and flexibility and ease of use that isn't sort of there in other cryptocurrencies. Like libertarians love Bitcoin Cash. I get it. But I understand that every other community out there, they like the idea of inflation. They want that built into their coin. And there's no reason they shouldn't have it.
Because Bitcoin Cash, and all other cryptocurrencies are inherently inflationary. The only thing is that
Chicagoan and inflationary, but not.
No, they're inherently new Bitcoin is being created constantly, every single block.
Right.
That's money created out of thin air.
Rate.
Sure, but they can always change that rate.
Yeah.
Well, there's a limit. I mean, there was a debt ceiling for the United States government too. I don't believe for a second that when Bitcoin reaches its limit, they're going to actually uphold it. No, they're going to hard fork it.
BTC couldn't agree that it was time to change the block size. They're certainly not going to go from 21 million on up.
Oh, once it becomes a possibility that the miners are going to stop receiving block rewards, oh yeah, because the miners
wanted voted on bigger blocks, and they still didn't said no.
Well, the miners are the only ones with voting power.
To me, I mean, I'm a technologist, and to me, just having that whole thing where you have a giant ledger and every node has to store every transaction ever made, and for the next block, one computer in the world has to process all transactions, and you don't even know which computer that will be in advance, so you have to send every transaction to every computer. And so, to me...
Greg, I hate to cut you off. Thank you so much for the call.
Check out intercoin.org.
Yeah, that's INTER coin.org, intercoin.org. This is Free Talk Live.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market, making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
And Andrew Cuomo has decided to slam protesters, telling them that, if they want to get back to work, then maybe they should just get a job as an essential worker.
Well, why not?
Coming to us from the Daily Beast, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said Wednesday that while local officials may feel political pressure to lift shelter-in-place restrictions amid the coronavirus pandemic, he refuses to open up his virus-stricken state until steps are in place to avoid a second wave of the disease. And that presumably would mean mandatory masks, mandatory social distancing, drastically reduced capacities in restaurants, probably the same for bars. I can't imagine what all it will entail, but it's not going to be good.
Well, I hear we're saving bars for last, so the last thing it's going to be open is going to be bars, probably even after movie theaters.
It's basically a sin tax, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to be the mayor of the town that had the resurgence of the coronavirus because something happened in a bar like it did in Italy.
You're not incorrect, but I also think it's very unwise of them to keep bars closed. Those are critical aspects of anyone's social life who wants to have a social life.
I think that they made their mistake early on, and they made it for sort of understandable reasons by doing it in the first place. Now that the muscle has been flexed, the customers, right, like the citizens of a town, being if we look at them as the customers, many of them are going to say, "Hey, why are you doing this to us? Why are you keeping these things open?" And then, like, you're really dealing as a chief executive at this point. You're really sort of juggling running chainsaws right now.
Well, I mean, the people who were concerned about getting sick from the bars could just not go.
That's a really great idea, and I agree with you. That's what they should do.
Yeah, well, if I can't have fun, no one else can.
Well, the concern is that there will be, obviously, the virus will still spread, right? Like, one of the reasons that you want to treat the homeless right now is because they're going to be the ones where this is spreading. They're not paying attention to stay-at-home orders. They don't have one. They're not, not getting their hooch or their heroin or their meth or whatever they're doing. The maybe not even homeless, but the bums of the world, the drug addicts, the whatever, that bottom quintile that's skulking about in the netherworld. They're still doing the thing.
Yeah, and it's in California, just I think like a few blocks away from one of the high-profile arrests where they arrested someone for like surfing. I forget exactly what it was, but anyway, someone was arrested for doing a recreational activity alone, essentially, and violating the stay-at-home order. And just like a few blocks away, there was a massive homeless camp that the police were, not that they should have been harassing them, but so it's okay, if you want to live in a shanty town, it's around tents and living in your own ways, the cops are going to leave you alone. You want to go and surf on an empty beach or take a walk through an empty park, you have to pay thousands of dollars. You get the book thrown at you. You're thrown in jail. Sick.
I get the pressure, but we can't make a bad decision. Frankly, this is no time to act stupidly. Period. I don't know how else to say it, Cuomo said at a press conference, adding that the decision to reopen New York's economy should be based on, quote, facts and not political pressure.
Cuomo has nipple piercings. Fact.
Or suspicion, but I'd say it's true because
I saw the shirt.
It certainly appeared to be true.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Why is it weird?
We have a chief executive. I mean, like that has nipple piercings. I mean, we've moved this far? Like society.
I don't find that weird.
While I was locked up in my house, society really jumped forward.
When his dad was also governor, so this guy grew up with a political elite. So I have no doubt that he grew up with eyes wide shut sort of stuff happening. Going to Bohemian Grove, or whatever. So he might be a victim of all of this, but he's like with many victims of abuse, they get like brought back into the system and help prop it up. So I mean,
that is a hell of a leap off someone having nipple piercings.
Well, but that's the thing. If you know about the elite and study as I do, especially New York too, right? I think he's some sort of a cult, like sadomasochistic sort of practices. I don't doubt it. I'm not saying I have any evidence for it, right? We don't even have evidence. I mean, there's some evidence he might have a nipple piercing. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying there's evidence that suggests it.
No, that's true.
It seems to be true.
I love that I brought this up, by the way. But I don't know what he's talking about, but it's great.
I don't either.
I mean,
he lost me going from nipple piercings to sadomasochism.
Okay, it's like a bull, right? Like a bull or animals, they have like that thing in their nose, right?
Yeah.
And some societies, people would get pierced to show that they're owned, right? So whatever, so I think that very well could be something that. That's why he has that piercing. That it's like that it's.
So nipple piercings suggest he is sadomasochistically owned by someone.
Yeah, if he's a politician, yeah.
Why do people get nipple piercings?
I don't think.
Bro, put that in incognito.
I'm not afraid of anything.
True.
Well, I don't think it's true he has a nipple piercing then. Fine, I could be difficult too.
I've got a picture.
Cuomo's warning came as protesters gathered at New York State Capitol to demonstrate against the stay-at-home order in place. Yeah, except we do have a picture of him, and you admitted to not having evidence of the stuff you were saying.
Well, no, I said it's what I suspect. You don't have a picture of him. Do you have a picture of his bare shirt and his bare nipple with a piece of metal in it, or do you just have a picture of like a ruffle in his shirt?
Here, I'll show you a picture.
I mean, as someone with pierced nipples, I know what they look like through a shirt.
Okay, all right. That's not something I want to find out, but okay, good for you.
Well, I used to do a topless show, and they were clearly pierced in that. But his nipples are definitely pierced. Unless it was photoshopped, his nipples are pierced.
Do you have a degree in pierceology or of...
Take a look, pal.
Called?
No, but who do you think did the piercings? Who do you think pierced my eyebrow? Who do you think did my tattoos?
That's not where his nipple is. Do you know how gravity works?
Yeah, that's where his nipple is.
Okay, that first picture didn't work out.
All right. I'll just keep going, showing you pictures of...
Great radio here, Mark.
No, Cuomo has pierced nipples. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Sort of weird ones, too.
I feel like we can safely say that his nipples are indeed pierced.
Well, you don't think like someone like an intern or something would have said, Governor Cuomo, you got to get back here. Put a jacket on.
I don't think he cares. I mean...
I don't want to see that.
I don't know what the problem is. What is the issue with...
It's I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at a picture of someone's beard.
Yeah, I think that it's bizarre that a chief executive would be acceptable behavior.
Well, they're not special. They're just ordinary people, and lots of ordinary people have pierced nipples.
I don't think that they're purported as ordinary people.
They think they're not, but I mean they are just ordinary people. So I don't find it odd at all.
I don't think that people will vote for somebody if they're purported as an ordinary person who's made ordinary person decisions.
I don't know whether or not they will. I guess we'll find out. He added that while residents may be feeling cabin fever, reopening the state prematurely and without the coordination of neighboring states would set back any progress the Empire State has seen in flattening the curve. Addressing the protesters outside the Capitol, Cuomo said the illness is death. What's worse than that? As though there isn't a state like, 250, 300 miles away with a motto of live free or die because death is not the worst?
Well, I mean, let's not talk about the COVID-19 virus as though it is an automatic killer either. From what we've been able to see here, the evidence rests that it is either somewhat less or somewhat more than the flu as far as its death toll. Now, certainly that may have other effects that just make life a misery afterwards. I don't know. But I mean, the idea that you conflate a death toll of 0.1 to 0.5 as death shows... I mean, if I had cancer that had a 99.9% survivability rate, I probably wouldn't change my lifestyle at all.
Well, this is the same state that banned guns because they decided that all guns equal death, right? So it's no surprising.
States don't do things. Politicians do. Politicians are people.
Politicians also pierce their nipples.
Apparently.
855-450-3733.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Jeunesse has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Now, with orders to stay at home, public health concerns, the reality of illness due to pathogens and viruses, your health is at an all-time high risk. That's why it's critical to take a proactive approach to boost your immune system. You can with new nano-colloidal silver from Americare, our patented process with tiny silver particles, 1/100th the size of a red blood cell, allows for maximum body absorption. Americare's nano-colloidal silver effectively disinfects your body internally, attacking pathogens and viruses while supercharging your immune system. Colloidal silver is antibacterial and antiviral. Simply put, it prohibits bacterial respiration, suffocating viral cells, preventing the virus from replicating. And now, due to public health concern, Americare is authorized to offer our lowest and best price ever, around $1 a day, but supplies are limited. Purchase nano-colloidal silver now at immunesupportnow.com. That's immunesupportnow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Supplies are limited.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required, only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Free Talk Live.
The DEA doesn't dabble with users. They go after the big dogs.
Yeah, I'm certain they have dabbled with users, and they would if they thought that they could
The
get
DEA?
something. They would if they thought they could get somewhere with it.
Maybe a user who's snorting 3 pounds a week, something where they could actually connect to a player.
Yeah.
But most users are just buying from other users. I mean, in the cocaine world, when you are a user, you've got to support your habit somehow.
Right.
And if you're not willing to go and knock over convenience stores and break into people's cars and hurt people to get the cash for your habit, then the only other choice for you, if you're not wealthy, is to sell cocaine to others.
Right.
And so most people will go and pick up whatever amount of coke they do, and then they'll sell to certain specific people who are their friends. Like he was saying, he was selling to his neighbor across the street. The DEA is not going to mess with that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Vincent.
And Mark.
I want to say thank you to Jay Lawrence, who is tonight's amplifier.
Thanks, Jay.
That means he's a member of the AMP program that you can find at amp.freetalklive.com. Stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. Money that you contribute to the program is used strictly to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. So if you like the show, if you like what we're doing, and you want to help us get on more radio stations, that's the best way to do it. Again, that's amp.freetalklive.com. Jay Lawrence, we thank you. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we hope that you continue amplifying it in the future. Well, let's go to the phones. We got Mike calling from Gold Bar, Washington. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, Aria. Thank you. Vincent, I'm going to give you some homework while I talk about nipple piercing. Will you look up Jim Morrison's father, and then I'll come right back to you. But
he was in naval, not naval intelligence. Yeah, he was in charge of the Gulf of Tonkin or something.
When I'm done with my nipple piercing story, I'll come back to you.
This is Jim Morrison of the Doors?
Yeah.
I got to go to jail twice for mowing my lawn on a protection order, and it was kind of fun because it was in Washington State. In my experience with nipple piercing, and is this guy you were talking about from New York?
What, Andrew Cuomo?
Yes, New York. Okay, so one night I went there, and you get undressed, and the officer had me turn around, make sure, just a simple rotation. But the next night I had this creepy old officer with a New York City NYC tattooed on his forearm, and it reminds me of in the movies. Don't half the creepy cops, isn't that what they do in those underground clubs in New York? So they probably all love him, which is why he's probably in the position he's in, because I think they have those clubs where they wear gag balls and
I know nothing of this.
They have that everywhere. There is no link whatsoever between having pierced nipples and sadomasochism.
But for politicians.
No, I'm just saying, but he's probably just part of that culture.
That's like saying people who have tattoos must be part of that culture.
Studio 54,
it's nonsense.
That's what I was thinking of.
Right. Anyway, so Jim Morrison's dad, go ahead, Vincent. Sorry, I just, go ahead. Could you tell me a little bit about that? the reason I'm asking is a guy from Hollywood that lives in my hometown where KBKW comes from. He worked in Hollywood his whole life, and he recommended watching a video before it gets banned called Out of the Shadows. And anyway, he mentioned Jim Morrison's dad this morning, and I was wondering if you could enlighten me on that real quick.
Well, I'm sure Google would do a better job of enlightening you on that. But from my understanding of Jim Morrison's father, and Jim Morrison died under somewhat circumstance. I don't think an autopsy was ever done on him, but his father was in the Navy, and I think he had something to do with the Gulf of Tonkin incident. But yeah, I think his father had something to do with naval intelligence. George Stephen Morrison, that was his name.
Okay, and I can't see well enough to Google, so that's why I'm asking you.
Oh, geez, now I feel bad.
Yeah, there you go. I should have just looked it up.
Well, Mike, thanks for the call anyway. I'm surprised by that based on everything I know about Jim Morrison and the Doors. It's not terribly unusual, but it is surprising that he would go that direction coming from a military family. Because he was hardcore into psychedelics and spiritual experiences, right? You don't typically find that in military families.
Kids turn the path from their parents all the time.
Sure.
I mean,
So getting back to this article, addressing protesters outside the Capitol, he goes on to say that,
this is Cuomo.
Yes, if you're desperate to work amid the virus, you should go get a job as an essential worker.
Isn't like everybody essential at this point? I mean, it's
in New Hampshire, just about everything except bars and restaurants were essential.
I guess one of the things that I've thought of is if you're a server and, just having been a server, I got to say that the money I was making was useful every single day that I made it, right? I was used to making my money every single day, and that was nice to have my money every single day. And I rarely ran out because I had money every single day. As a server, you're probably not saving a whole bunch of money, just guessing. Maybe food delivery is a way to... I'm tipping a lot more. I hate tips. I just hate the whole concept of them. But right now, I realize people
I remember
are
the Keen Chat.
What's that?
I remember the Keen Chat.
Keen Chat?
Yes. The lengthy discussion about tips that was had there one day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I will certainly give my opinion.
You clearly don't remember.
I will give my opinion on tips whenever the opportunity
So
arises.
No tips, no handshakes.
I prefer... No, it's not that I do not tip. It's that I hate tips.
Right.
But I live in a world where tipping, especially to servers, is necessary. And now with the sort of Corona thing where everybody feels like they're providing a extra special service by being open, I'm like, all right, well, if you feel like you're taking a risk for being here, I'll give you $1. And
$1?
Well, it's at the burger place where they didn't get it.
Okay.
Look, there's nobody serving food, Aria.
You didn't specify that you were going to McDonald's or whatever and giving $1 tip.
Well, they don't have tips at McDonald's.
I would still argue it's probably more of a middle finger to tip someone $1 than to just not tip them.
What are you talking
yes,
about?
Stefan Molyneux.
It's a $9 burger, and you give somebody a tip that didn't even bring it to your table, that's getting a full paycheck. I mean, servers get $2.15 an hour. That's why they get tips.
So if someone tipped you $1, would you refuse it? Or if someone tipped you an amount that you thought was insulting, would you still accept it, or would you say something to the customer?
Well, I'm not a bad customer service person. I'm a very good salesman.
Okay.
So I would not say anything to the customer, but I would throw it into the jar or whatever because it wasn't worth my time to accept personally. And that's what I do when somebody has like 79 cents and they're like, keep the change. Okay, well, I'm throwing it here in this.
What's the jar? Is it a tip jar?
No, it's just where...
Is it like donation to...
Take a penny, leave a penny.
The March of Dimes.
Sort of like that.
Okay.
Take a penny.
So, see, this is part of it, right? Is that why I hate tips. Is here you are like, you should be tipping more than $1 on a $9 hamburger when everybody behind the counter is getting paid well more than any server would. And this is the really weird world where I don't understand what to give people.
I'm not saying you should tip
I can tell
more
you
than
this,
$1.
as a server, when I was a server, the cooks hated us because we got tips and they didn't.
Yeah.
So the more money I give a server, the more reason the cooks in the back have to hate them, right? Are you saying the cooks do less work than the servers do? Why should the servers get $20 an hour and the cooks get $8?
Well, in a good restaurant environment, these waitresses, these servers would tip out the cooks. Right?
What?
Just like bartenders
Never
tip out
heard
bar
of that.
backs.
Never in my life have I heard about tipping out cooks. Not to say it doesn't happen.
Well, it's
but
just
I've
like
never heard of it.
bartenders tipping out bar backs.
That servers tip out busboys, but not cooks. Not where I've ever worked. Not that I've ever heard of.
Well, I've never been a server or a cook. So
what do you tip?
A minimum of $10.
For what?
Well, for any delivery. If I go to a restaurant I like...
So if you get a $10 Mugu Gai pan from the Chinese restaurant delivered to your house.
$10 flat tip. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the starting point.
Okay, so...
And if it's a restaurant I like, my tip is 100%. If I go to Lab and I spend $50, they're getting a $50 tip every single time.
Do you think that's going to get you in heaven?
No.
I mean,
but you know what it will get me?
What?
It will get me skipped straight to the front of the line.
You're
every
right
time
about
I
that.
Go there.
I would have your gullible butt right the front of the line every single time. you want me to scrape the head off your beer and put some more beer in there? Whatever it takes.
They have created new lines for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
It's great. It's one of my favorite establishments, and it's essentially because I've bought them off. I don't see an issue with that.
That's what you've done. Yeah. Just so long as that's
free market, man.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying you're the kid that's throwing off the curve for the whole class, right? Expect us to hate you.
I've been expecting people to hate me my entire life.
I was told. For me, it's the opposite. I'm not going to feel as bad if I tip under 10% because I know people like Aria are going to overcompensate. So thank you, Aria. I appreciate that.
I was told 15% pre-tax total is what is considered a good tip.
It is.
That's what I considered a good tip while I was working.
It is.
That I had been stiffed one time the entire time I was working as a server, and I still remember that person, still remember the order. So I don't stiff people, but man, oh man, I by no means am I going to be giving 100% on a total.
And I don't blame you.
I stiffed once, and I remembered a person. So a year later, when I went back to Montreal, I gave 100% tip, and she didn't remember me, but I felt good about it afterwards.
I'm not saying most people should tip 100%. I'm just saying, we're discussing tipping, and that's how I do it.
Outlandish.
This has been Free Talk Live. If you enjoyed the show, head on over to amp.freetalklive.com to take part in some of the cool features there, like the AMP-only Discord server, the AMP-only Facebook group. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it